The volume profile tool in TradingView have been my best friend lately, giving me X-ray vision into the market, helping me define key levels of support and resistance, and giving me an edge in predicting whether I should be long or short. So without further ado, let's jump into the charts. I want to give you guys a little bit of a deeper insight into how I've been using this to actually trade. I just used it recently to find an amazing potential short opportunity on ETH. So I'm going to break that down, kind of show you where I got the levels and the confirmations I used to certify that it was a good short opportunity. Let's get into it. So here we are on the Ethereum chart. Right now we're looking at the 1 hour chart. And like I said, I do want to show you guys how I use the volume profile tool to find key levels. So let's start off with that. So we'll come over here to the left-hand side of TradingView to our toolbar, and we'll come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tools down, click on that, and then come all the way down to the bottom to fixed range volume profile. Now, you are going to need a paid version of TradingView, I believe, to have access to this tool. But I will tell you right now, if there's a reason to pay for TradingView, having access to the volume profile tools are worth it alone. So you want to come down here and click fixed range volume profile. Now, if you guys have not seen my tutorial on the fixed range volume profile, I will link it above. Definitely go check that out and then come back to this tutorial for a more in-depth dive. So now that you have your fixed range volume profile selected, you want to go ahead and find the range that you want to pull your volume from. So what I'm going to do for this example is I'm going to go ahead and come up here and we're going to use our replay tool to get rid of this price action right here, because this is the short that I'm actually talking about, being able to predict. So we're going to come to the end of this range right here and we're going to bring the price action back. And I'm going to go ahead and pull my volume profile from about the 22nd of June all the way to about July 4th. And you're going to see here that we get these 3 levels. Now, if you guys watched my original video on the fixed range volume profile, you will know that this shaded area of candles is called the value area. Now, this is typically where you're going to see the most volume, right? This is where most of the price action is going to be. You do have the point of control here, which is just the point at which the most volume was traded, right? So that is important to know. So you basically have 3 key levels here when you pull a fixed range volume profile. One of those levels is going to be the point of control. So I'm going to go ahead and come here and add a horizontal line. And then you have this blue line up here, which is your value area high. And then this blue area down here, which is your value area low. So the point of control basically acts as a magnet, as does the whole value area, right? So typically with volume profiles, if you see price come out of the value area like this, if you do not see increasing volume, which you actually did see here, right? You saw volume increase, right, with this high volume node here. When you see volume increase, you could actually start to range in this area, which is exactly what we saw here. But more often than not, when price leaves the value area and starts trading out of the value area, a lot of times the value area will act as a magnet. Value area meaning this area right here, or the area between the value area high and value area low. This area in here is going to act as a magnet. It has the point of control, which is where the most volume was traded. Most of the time, you will notice that the value area is where so a lot of times when you come out of the value area high, you can expect that value area, these shaded candles right here, to act as a magnet, sucking the price back towards the value area or the point of control here, right? So now that we have our value area high, our point of control, and our value area low marked with horizontal lines, I'm going to go ahead and remove the volume profile. So now you can see we're just left with our 3 lines, right? So we'll just go ahead and label this one value area high, and we'll label this one the point of control, just so we know what is what, and then we'll label this one value area low. So now we have our 3 levels here. We know they are strong levels. As you can see, price does react really well off of these. You found support right here. You came back up, you hit resistance, you came back down, you hit support, you came back up, and then the value area high obviously acts as resistance when you're below it, and sometimes you can act as support when you're above it. You saw it act as support, and then you get sucked back in towards the high volume node, the POC, act as a magnet. As we always say, price comes back down, right? So I want to show you guys how I was able to find this Ethereum short that just recently happened. So as you can see here, we have our little range with highly respected levels. We know what they are. We know where the point of control is. You can say, in theory, if you were to work your way back up towards this value area high, or even outside of the value area high, outside of the value area completely, this is where we would be expecting to get sucked back down to that point of control because there is less volume outside of the value area, right? The value area just meaning the place where most of the price action is. So when you come out of that area, there's typically lower volume in those areas, and the point of control or the high volume areas will suck you back towards that point of control. So in theory, if you have price come up and you work your way up towards this level here, the value area high, or even a little bit above, you could be looking for shorts. Now, this is exactly what I was looking for in the past couple of days. And if we use our replay tool here, we can kind of see how price action behaved. You can see we're stuck below the point of control right now. We pop above it. We start getting moves up towards that value area high. Now we're starting to get close. Now I'm looking, if we come up and hit this, I'm looking for a potential rejection. You don't just want to trade based off of these levels. You want to use confirmations, whether it be market cipher B, market cipher A, whatever indicators you guys are using to trade, you're going to want to have multiple confirmations, but these key levels are an amazing place to start. So we know we have a strong level of resistance right here. And even if we break above it, we know there's going to be lower volume because it's outside of the value area, and we would expect to get sucked toward that point of control. So as we approach this value area high, we're starting to feel like we're looking for shorts, right? We're approaching that area. So we're going to pull up market cipher B. And what I like to do is, looking at the 1 hour here, this is where we drew our lines on the 1 hour. What I like to do is go to the lower time frames and try to pick out some bearish confirmations. I like to trade off of if this, then that statements. If price is doing this and I check the lower time frames and see market cipher B doing this, I'm going to enter this trade, right? So for this trade, I'm looking for price to come up and test this value area high. And then on lower time frames like the 12 and the 15 minute, I will be looking for bearish divergences. So if we continue to move price up here, you can see that we're getting dangerously close to this value area high where we are expecting a rejection, right? And now I do see that we made a high here and a higher high here. And it looks like we are starting to possibly put a bearish divergence in on the 1 hour. Now, if we come back in time and go to something like the 15 minute, this bearish divergence will be a little bit more clear, as when we go to lower time frames, you could think of that as zooming in to the chart. So you can see here, we have the two highs. We have a high here and a high here, right? Price is making a higher high as your momentum waves are making a lower high with a confirmed red dot. And right there would be the bearish divergence confirmation that we are looking for. So we have all of our criterias met. So we came up to our value area high where we were looking for a rejection. We came down to the lower time frames. We have the bearish divergence on the 15 minute and on the 12 minute confirmed on market cipher B. So there's a little bit of confirmation. So we can go ahead and add a short position. You could add another confirmation, would be absolutely great for this. But just because bearish divergences are so strong and so reliable, and because we have such strong resistance at this key level, I would feel comfortable at least putting in a starter short position. So you can put in your short position here. Maybe you want to put your stop loss right above that value area high. Give your trade a little bit of breathing room here, right? And then your take profit is going to be, dependent on what your strategy tells you and what your risk tolerance is. So let's say we're just going for, we'll say we'll go for 4%, and then we'll just see the price action play out. And you see we are coming down, and boom, it's a winning trade. And this was a no-brainer because we have these key levels based off of the volume profile with the bearish divergence confirmations on market cipher B. You could also use Lux Algo to find a strong sell signal on one of these lower time frames, or a plethora of other indicators to try to add confirmation to these short entries. But as you can see, we did respect this value area high very, very well. And you can also add extra confirmation with things such as fib levels, right? If we go ahead and pull a Fibonacci retracement from this high right here all the way to the low right here, you can see we were also approaching a golden pocket. So just another reason you could be looking for a short at this level, as the golden pocket is a very strong level of resistance, and the value area high giving you those confirmations plus the bearish divergence would make it a pretty confident trade. And then you can see here that the price was free falling for a little bit, and we made our trade of about 4%. And if you open up Lux Algo, you do get a sell signal right at the rejection of this golden pocket or value area high. There is even more confirmation, as well as you are coming up to your rejection zone, right? You were riding in this reversal zone for quite some time. So you wait for the confirmed bearish divergence, you get the sell signal, boom, you come down. Now, going back to the volume profile, this just shows that you can set up a seriously strong foundation for your trading, right? Especially in ranging markets. Now, this is just one of the volume tools that TradingView offers, the fixed range volume profile, but you can kind of see when price is ranging, you can find these key levels and it makes trading them much, much easier. Even when you came up here and started holding these levels, your value area still remained down in this level, so you would be expecting to get sucked towards that point of control. Just like we assumed here at getting rejected right here, we expected to get pulled towards that point of control, even if we came out of the value area, and we are on our way towards that point of control. Now, when we get down to the point of control, we can look for the opposite, right? We can look for bullish divergences on the smaller time frames for a possible bounce back up towards the value area high. Now, let's just go ahead before we wrap up this video and find one more example of how we can find strong levels and then make trading decisions based off of those strong levels acting as support or resistance, plus some confirmations. Let's see if we could find a good long opportunity. So here we are back on the 1 hour chart for Ethereum. And you can see I pulled some volume just for this little range of price action. As you know, it was a little bit of a weird range. We came all the way down here, all the way back up. But you can see here that our value areas are very, very similar to where it was in our previous example, which was forward in time. So these levels do stay true throughout time, right? So you can see here our value area high was very similar here on June 16th as it was in our previous example, which was further on in time. But you can see these levels stay true, right? So if you find a value area or a POC in one point in time and price action goes along and time moves forward, price can react off of that POC in the future as well. But let's just go ahead and move them closer to where they actually are on the volume profile tool. And boom, there we go. So right now, you can see that we have lost the POC and we are now trading below the point of control, right? Showing that the bears are in control. So it would be likely to come down here towards our value area low or get sucked up closer to this point of control area right here for maybe a possible another rejection. But you can see here on Market Cipher B, we are putting in a bullish divergence, right? So you have your momentum waves making higher lows and you have your price making lower lows. Now, seeing this live, you would think if you get above the point of control, it could act as support for a possible move up towards the value area high. So now you can see here that we did print a candle above the POC and we are closing above the POC, looking like we want to flip the point of control into support. Let one more candle go by and you can see if you come to lower time frames, you could kind of zoom in and see how this price action is actually interacting with these levels. And you can see that we broke above it and now we are bullishly retesting it right here with a bullish divergence on the 1 hour, which is a pretty strong bullish signal. So you could go ahead and with those confirmations between the lower time frames showing that price was getting above that point of control, bullishly retesting it as support with the bullish divergence on the 1 hour time frame, you could assume that it's probable that you could work your way up closer towards the value area high. So you could go ahead and we'll put our long position in right here. Now we won't even go for the full move, right? We'll go, maybe we'll set our take profit right about here, right below this swing high right here. And we're going for about 4.5% profit. And let's see what happens. And you can see there, this one was another winner, right? So you came up, we got our 4%. Did we actually come up and there you go. We blasted right through the value area high. But if you had to guess, being above that value area high, you would think you're probably going to get sucked closer in towards the value area. And you can see, even though we did come up here and trade above our value area high for just a little bit, we assumed we're going to get pulled back in towards the value area, towards that point of control, and that is exactly what happened. We traded up here for just a little bit, and we got sucked right back in towards that point of control as expected. I hope you learned something. That's all I got for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Frankie Candles out.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide.